Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
Salamu alaikum. This is Chuck Campbell with
Wayne Bledsoe and
John Baker and
Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete.
our special guest.
Yes. Those of you who've been listening to us for over a year, you may remember Pete being here a year ago, and we talked about. He said, "Well, why don't you tell us what you do?" I mean, because you've got such a good history with making music and
Trouble.
and science
Making
teaching
trouble, yeah.
and trouble.
But Dr. Demento has retired,
Right.
and his show is still going on, and it's being run by his IT man, Mysterious Mose.
Okay.
And they're doing lots of old stuff, so the show is still on, but Barry's retired. He's 3 months younger than me.
Okay.
So
you're a young man still.
That makes him 37.
Okay. Oh, you've already hit 38? I didn't realize. Okay.
Well, that's my
38's
weight.
38's the new 20.
Yeah, there you
38's the new
Yeah.
one. Yes. Well, and last year, we were talking about humorous songs and kind of novelty songs and different songs. And we're going to kind of go in a similar orbit this time and do weird songs. Is that what we're going to agree this all is?
Yeah,
Or
sort
songs
of.
that you defy categorization. And I was explaining that there are songs that come up that I'd like to talk about, but they never fit a category that we do because
Right.
they're so weird.
Right.
So, and we all have our own ideas about what that means, and so we'll just follow that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I didn't get the rules because I don't have songs. I've got bands or groups.
But you can pull out a song from those as an example.
Some of them I don't know the names of any of their songs.
Wow, that's weird.
I just listen to them. I don't. Yeah.
Well, for me,
We'll
the
get
gold
there.
standard, I got a couple of songs from my childhood. We've talked about these songs to death. We don't need to go into details, but songs that triggered me to know that songs don't have to be formulaic and that people can do unusual things and still have hits. And that's 1971's Uncle Albert, Paul and Linda McCartney, and 1975's Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Right.
Two huge mainstream successful songs by two huge rock acts. But really weird as hell songs if you break them down.
yeah,
And not
totally.
anything someone would sit down and say, I'm going to write a rock song and do what they did. So that kind of got me looking forward to songs that just didn't follow the, first chorus.
It's interesting you bring Uncle Albert because, Paul McCartney, John Lennon always gets the credit for the weirdest stuff. And Paul McCartney also did weird stuff with the Beatles, and they collaborated on stuff. And the two songs that I wanted to bring up for the Beatles is Revolution Number 9, which is a sound collage,
Right.
and You Know My Name, Look Up the Number, which is like kind of the most obscure song in the Beatles catalog because it used to be a B-side. It was a B-side to, I think, Let It Be. You had to track it down.
Wow.
And it was not on an album for years until they finally put out Past Masters, and they brought it out on the second edition of that. But it's basically them just goofing off and having fun in the studio and coming up with all sorts of crazy stuff. And I love it.
Well, no one ever said no to the Beatles.
No, and I mean it's funny because they had a couple other things that have been bootlegged that were of a similar vein, but. It's like they loved having fun with stuff and doing this experimental things, and that's kind of like Uncle Albert. Is it changes what it is? It starts out with one song and goes into another song, and got a lot of
Different
dialogue.
voices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Its predecessor is, Yellow Submarine, where they recreate the whole submarine with the bubbles and all that stuff in the middle. That's kind of it's the kissing cousin to Uncle Albert.
But, and also, I Am the Walrus, which is a weird as hell song because it's so, the imagery in it and everything is so random. He pulls in stuff from Finnegan's Wake and stuff from Alice in Wonderland and all sorts of little imagery that comes in, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I want to start with something very recent just to show how different songs can be different.
Okay.
And this is, do you know Walk My Walk by Breaking Rust?
No.
That just hit.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It just hit number 1 on the Billboard Country Sales chart. Number 1.
Yeah.
And it's a complete AI fabrication.
As I told somebody the other day.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no singer. That no one did the. It's just like it was all just a fabrication, and it's number 1 on the country sales chart. I've listened to it. It is better than most contemporary country sales songs.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. That's just something you wouldn't have anticipated. But here we are in a time when a completely fake song can go to number 1 on the sales chart.
This is actually something I've been waiting on ever since AI became a thing.
Yeah,
but the whole notion of a sales chart is just kind of, I mean, what is a sales chart? With streaming and with...
Well, yeah, some people are downloading it and buying the download.
Yeah.
So it's there.
I mean, if any song's going to be number 1, it's like all the songs are still ranked, so it's like the top 1.
Yeah.
And we're probably just going to... I think it's the tip of the iceberg. We're just going to see more of this. They're going to infiltrate the pop charts and the maybe, I don't know what else, rock charts, I guess. And
eventually...
album charts and...
The thing with modern country music is it's all written by committee anyway. It's you hardly ever have just one guy who writes a song. It's like all the buddies get together and they all throw in the elements that they think everybody wants.
Change a word, take a third.
Right, and they come up with the same crap all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's not surprising to me that AI can do that. Because that's what they're trying to do.
I think an interesting thing about this song, too, is it's encouraging you to be yourself. So a person who doesn't exist is singing to you to be yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's where we are.
That's some irony.
Well, I have to say, somebody played me, my friend Dwight played me a song that was AI created that sounded like Johnny Cash singing War Pigs by Black Sabbath, and it was great. And I hated that it was great.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it would have been better if Johnny Cash really could have sung that song.
Yeah.
But it worked. Just like Hurt works. But, I mean, it doesn't have that kind of soul or anything, but it works.
Right. Well, this fake guy's voice is really nice.
Yeah, it's nice, and the lyrics, I listen to it.
They built some weather into it, so it's not like this crisp, polished voice at all. It's got little earthy tones to it.
I listen to it. And
they got plugins for that.
Yeah. It just sounds like what all these groups of modern country songwriters have been trying to do.
Yeah.
Here
we are.
The most generic, this is what we think people want song in the world.
And they're right.
Yeah, apparently.
Well,
that's not art, that's commerce.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean,
But it's number 1 on the country sales chart.
I know, but that's what modern country music has become. It's like you don't have individuals.
I think it's going to creep over to other genres, too.
I'm sure it will.
Well, there was an article, I don't know where it was, but it was about how Spotify was farming out, like on their chill music station, which is like sort of background music you play when you're reading a book or studying or whatever, and that they were farming it out to these music farms in, I think, Sweden, that for sure were using AI. They were just making beats and just selling them by the yard, and Spotify had to pay like 70% less than they would have had to pay an actual artist for that music. Yeah. And they're monetizing their streaming service by just filling in all the gaps with AI-generated music.
So for copyright, who gets the credit for an AI?
Well, that's an interesting thing.
That's a good question.
Because the AI companies, I mean, I don't know if they're claiming this or not, but the AI companies, most of them claim whatever you create is theirs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
AI companies are claiming that whatever you make belongs to them.
Right.
Wow.
So we shall see how this turns out. Because, I mean, what you're doing is when you're feeding in prompts and you're creating this stuff, you're just creating more and more for them and more for them to draw off of.
And you could say, well, at least, real artists will get concert money and everything, but, they can pull dead artists up and put them on the screen and put them on the stage, or artists who, I think with ABBA, they did some tour, but they were at home in Sweden, and they did this world tour from Sweden, so.
Was their sweat real?
Who knows with those people,
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to change everything, and it's going to make real art. There'll be a backlash to it, but real artists are not going to be putting stuff out there, so it's just going to get more and more generic as it goes on. You're not going to have the Bjorks and the weirdos. I mean, the very stuff we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we should start
That
talking
is
about
what
that.
we're not going to have.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, it's like we're talking about the opposite of what we're talking about. Then.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that's why weird stuff is important.
That's why this is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's weirder than completely fake music, but definitely, let's get into these weird songs we want to get into.
Okay. You start.
Start.
You start.
Okay, well, I'm going to go backward in time. So I just did a 2025 song. I want to talk about... I've got a few songs and acts that I talk about pretty often, but most of these acts are people I don't talk about very often or I've never talked about before. But I wanted to at least mention APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. It was like the biggest hit a year ago. And it was a K-pop singer. Rose is a K-pop singer, so she's Korean. And she's with the band Blackpink, and then Bruno Mars, of course, is an American singer. And it's a Korean drinking game that's been converted into a song, and it's also what I call this very, very subgenre called like cheerleader songs.
Yeah,
and it's like you get these chanting type songs, and you've got everything from "Holla Back Girl" by Gwen Stefani and "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift, "Mickey" by Tony Basil. And it was just this weird confluence, and it's got some Korean language in it. And it's like, I've not heard anything quite like these elements all come together. So these innovation is still alive.
I think those interesting combinations, when they work, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
When they don't.
This one's catchy. I mean, that's all that mattered. It needed to be catchy, and they made it catchy.
Well, it's been interesting through the years, through history. You will have foreign language songs pop in there, not in the kind of salad that you're talking about.
Right.
But, like Sukiyaki back in the 60s, that's a Japanese song.
Was that the 60s?
That was the 60s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what was that Macarena thing? That was
Macarena,
it was
yeah.
a dance or what?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's popped up through the years.
Did 99 Luftballons in Germany in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's and it is always kind of weird.
Yeah, what the singing nun?
The singing nun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have another song I was going to mention much later, but it's Jola Taxi by Vanessa Paradis.
Yeah.
That was a song that was just a huge hit around the world. She's French. She was singing in French. She was 14 years old. Sounded like a little girl. I mean, even younger than that. And it was like a rumba too. So I mean, everything about it was weird, and it got to number 3 in the United States. Who's kind of bristles it.
Well, Pete brought up earlier when we were talking earlier today about Amazing Grace, which you don't think that's weird, but Judy Collins doing an a cappella version of Amazing Grace and making it a hit in 1970 or whatever it was. I think it was 70. That was weird.
I believe that was on Elektra Records.
It was on Elektra Records.
I'm reading a book about Elektra
Okay,
Records. Right?
yeah. But it's like, I remember being in the car and that comes on and it's a cappella.
I think, is a game starting or what's?
Yeah, it was so strange.
Somebody died.
Yeah, it's like, but it's a cappella and it's just this one voice singing, amazing. Well, actually, I think there's a choir behind her singing Amazing Grace, but it's just like, it's just so strange.
And it was a hit.
It was a hit. It was a hit, and it was like they played it here. They played it on the radio all the time. Did you? You were probably in Indiana then still, or were you talking to Pete?
You mean
when Amazing Grace was on the radio?
Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
I don't know when it came out though.
About 1970.
I thought it was older than The Hills.
Yeah, it was about 1970.
Oh. Was Judy Collins kind of at her peak then, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, her biggest hit was probably "Sitting in the Clowns," which came out like 75, someplace around there. But she was a thing, and that was like up to that point, that was her biggest hit on the radio.
All right,
it was weird.
Let's churn along.
Okay,
you got anything related to that, or?
Well, from that era, I mean, I have a lot of things from that era because there was a lot of weird things. One of my favorite all-time one-hit wonder hits, the Hombres' "Let It All Hang Out."
Right.
Which is
When was that?
That was about 69. Let's see, 67 actually. It's earlier than I thought, but that was just a popular thing to say back in 67. Yeah, when you wanted just to,
Just let it all
as
hang out.
sexual as it sounds?
Well,
you've never heard that before?
I don't know.
It just means like get your freak flag. Just do whatever, and be you.
Get your freak on.
Yeah, that's basically it's the same
Okay.
thing. But it comes out and it starts with him quoting this sermon. I preach, my dear friends, you are about to receive on John Barleycorn, nicotine, and the temptations of Eve. And then he goes,
Raspberries.
and then he starts singing
Bronx Cheer.
basically nonsense. But it's up some of my favorite licks of all time. No parking by the sewer sign, hot dog, my razor's broke, water dripping up the spout, but I don't care. Let it all hang out.
It's like freeform poetry.
It was. It was just so crazy, but no parking by the sewer sign. And then the line, hanging by a pine tree from my knees, eating a Reuben sandwich with sauerkraut. Don't stop now, baby. Let it all hang out. it's like it was
I do remember
perfect.
that song.
And it was just so strange. I remember my grandmother at the time loved that song.
Oh, okay.
And it's just because it's just so weird. I mean, I'm going to use that word a lot, but it's just such a strange
That's the theme
song.
of the show today.
I know, but it was such a strange thing.
You want me to get a thesaurus?
Yeah, we might need it. But, this is the summer of love. This is the summer of Sgt. Pepper and all this great stuff coming out.
Right.
And then you have this bunch of goofballs from Memphis who bring out Let It All Hang Out. And it's like, I like it better than Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Well, back before Brian Wilson sort of got himself back into some kind of shape and released his own version of the Smile record, everybody had to listen to bootleg together copies of the stuff. But I mean, some of that stuff, it doesn't get any weirder than that.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole Fire section.
And Fred fell into his French horn, and they're all talking through horns. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird.
And the barnyard stuff where they're all imitating barnyard animals.
And some of that weirdness came into the final version, the vegetables.
Yeah.
I went to see that Brian Wilson with the Wondermints as his backing band, and Leslie and I went to Montreal to see them, and they had 19 people on stage, all of them either singing or chomping on vegetables.
Well, he was. That whole era was so cool, just with people just experimenting and doing whatever. Mm-hmm. Another one I want to bring up from that era is Timothy by the Boys, which is written by Rupert Holmes, who later had a hit with the Pina Colada song, a song that many of us despise. But Timothy is the one hit about cannibalism.
Okay.
It's about a bunch of miners and trapped in the mine, and they can't get to him, and Timothy is the guy they eat.
He's the one that looks most delicious.
Well, it's so funny because you had to listen to it a few times before you realized,
They're talking about.
it says, our bellies were full as they could be, and nobody ever found Timothy.
And that was a hit.
That was a hit. I think it got to like number 12 on the Billboard charts.
When would that have been?
That's about 71. But yeah, Rupert Holmes, who later, wrote Pina Colada Song, and then I think he did Broadway stuff after that. But yeah,
Kesha got some heat. She did a song called "Cannibal" in the 2000s, and she referenced Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was funny and fun at the time. But things got a little tighter, and I think they banned the song.
Really?
But it was a hit. It was like right before things came down, and you couldn't make Jeffrey Dahmer jokes.
Oh. I do miss that.
Yeah.
That we're so sensitive now that our humor can't be as sick.
When we were talking about this, driving around, I forgot about Frank Zappa.
Oh yeah, Frank Zappa's
You probably most of the ones you already knew.
Yeah. But Zappa's stuff is just inherently strange and
his biggest hit was his daughter.
Yeah,
Moon
Valley
Unit,
Girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
She didn't do any other music after that, right?
I don't
She
think
just
so.
was there for his one song.
Gag.
I know his Dweezil did, but
I think she tried.
My favorite
some other
one was
stuff.
"Gag Me with a Spoon."
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God.
I think she's a yoga instructor now.
Okay.
She just wrote a book.
Wouldn't you want a yoga instructor named Moon Unit, though? Doesn't that sound perfect?
It's really sad to see how their whole family have squabbled over the rights to Frank's music.
Yeah, that and everything. Well, the way it happened was their mom left control of everything to the younger two and cut out the older two who were the more industrious. So, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, weirdness. What do you got?
So I was going to get into the whole skibidi toilet crap for
Oh,
the
yeah.
web series, and I thought I'm going to skip that from 2023. Instead, for 2023, I'm going to do "Even It Out" by Fever Ray. I've mentioned this song before.
You were obsessed with Fever Ray.
I am, because I mean the whole song. You talk about an odd topic. It's about a parent who is defending their son who's been bullied in high school. So Fever Ray kidnaps the bully and ties him up and is going to cut his head off. and they're going there, just cut. And it's a menacing song. It's got an industrial type music foundation to it. And that's actually Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross were the producers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's why it's got this really...
And was that a hit?
Yeah, it was a hit. I mean, it wasn't a hit like American mainstream, but it was certainly like an alt-rock hit. It's, I think, Scandinavian. I think it's a Swedish performer. But so they'll take anything over in Europe can be a hit.
It's interesting, the violent stuff. I mean, there was that whole era of dead teenager songs. You know, Last Kiss and, you know, all the stuff that came out. It was always late 50s, early 60s, and the song is about, you know, Leader of the Pack. That's another dead teenager song. But it was a whole subgenre.
Right.
And every few months in the 60s, early 60s, you had another dead teenager on the radio.
I guess there's just something to romanticize then.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I mean, I guess teens... I mean, you remember in high school, if anybody in your school died, it was just like...
It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Even if it was a kid you didn't know from another class, it was just like... Because kids aren't supposed to die. So when it does, you know, it's just like pretty intense.
One of my friends who died in a car wreck at age of 16.
Yep.
Yep.
And there were 6 of them in the car, and it hit a telephone pole.
Yep.
And he's the only one that actually got hurt.
Wow.
Well, it's Dave. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Yeah, no. But he was the same guy that I was talking to you about the flip top box. He told me about that, Ricky.
Huh.
Flip top box.
Yeah. Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we
had one in my class. You know, it was prom night. He was driving. He had one of his buddies in the car with him, and he ran off the road, hit a tree. He was a football player. They were both football players. Yeah. The driver died, and the other one was injured pretty bad. And it was just like just a chill, and their whole culture and all the cliques, and everybody just kind of like, he was just here.
I had the same thing.
There's another one, I think, called Lori.
Yeah, Lori.
That one, that was strange.
Yeah.
And the sweater on the grave.
Yeah, that was one of the most maudlin ones of all the dead teenager songs. And then
that myth of, you know, crashing on a highway in the middle and killing somebody, and it's that Drive-By Trucker song on Southern Rock Opera. Yeah. They're talking about, you know, the wheels still spinning and Freebird still playing on the, you know, when the ambulance arrived, and that song is a very long song.
Yeah, that one really, when I first heard that, it really hit home, because it's like, that's what being a teenager and being in high school is. It's like, you know.
You're bulletproof.
Yeah, until you see somebody
that's the center of the world and you're bulletproof.
Yeah.
Well, I've got Unholy from 2022.
Okay.
This was a big hit. It was Sam Smith, British Sam Smith, and Kim Petras. And it's a song about this rich man who's got a trophy wife, and she's got everything she wants. And then the rich man leaves her and the kids all the time. And he goes down to a sex club. And they don't know about Daddy at the sex club. And so the song, but the interesting thing about the song is it's not so much the theme, which is kind of funny anyway, but it's mainly built on these really theatrical kind of like choir choruses, and the music itself is just a little bit of bass and a little bit of electronica, and then you just hear Smith singing, and then you hear Peter singing, and so it's just got this real just high drama, basically just from vocals, and that's not something you expect.
No,
I can keep going weird. I can go weird all day.
Oh, keep going weird on your
while
newer
I'm in
stuff.
2022. While I'm in 2022, I'm going to do Chicken Teriyaki by Rosalia. She's a Spanish singer, and the song is it's hypnotic. It's beat heavy. It's like reggaeton, urbano type style. And her voice is really cool. She's got it kind of wavers, and it sounds like she's kind of going off key, but she always pulls it back in. She's got an excellent, interesting, distinct delivery. And the only part that's in English is chicken teriyaki. So she's singing about being great and awesome and everything, and she's comparing herself to another woman who's just chicken teriyaki.
I forgot all about this song. This is not that old, but I can't.
No, yeah, it's 2022. Yeah, and so the song and the title, and most of it's in Spanish, and the urbano music, you don't usually hear that. And it was a big hit. She's a big hit now, and she was kind of a forerunner to, Bad Bunny was breaking at the same time.
Yeah.
Of course, he's very newsworthy these days.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going to take you back to the oldest, weirdest song I know.
Okay.
And this is the Treetop Serenade. I think we talked about it after we went off air one time because John hates whistling songs.
Oh yeah, he does.
John hates songs with whistlers, and this song,
like whistling passages or anything.
This came out in about 1931. Carson J. Robinson. The whole song is whistling, but it sounds like birds singing. Because he is such a talented whistler, he was, that the whole thing sounds like birds. And it's amazing. I used to play it on the radio. Song? It's called the Treetop Serenade.
When was it?
About 1931, 32.
Okay.
Carson J. Robinson was an actual, like, kind of cowboyish kind of singer.
Okay.
And he and Vernon Dahlhart, like, teamed up to do some, like, Hawaiian songs. They did all sorts of crazy stuff. But the Treetop Serenade is just him doing bird calls and making it musical.
Imagine how you'd feel if you were listening to nothing but guitar solos.
Well, I'm thinking, if you got the birds, you put them behind like a heavy percussion and maybe, like some exotica instrumentation.
This is
just bird calls.
It's just some strings behind him.
Okay.
But he's whistling these bird calls to a melody. I actually think John's going to like it. I'm going to force him to listen to it. And if he doesn't like it, it's just going to be fun to watch his face. But that's the oldest one I know of that is out there as the weirdest.
Don't go back that far. Yeah.
They're.
You've got to have like old murder ballads and stuff.
But I don't consider murder ballads weird.
Okay,
you
don't consider murder ballads weird.
No, murder ballads are that's a standard thing.
Right.
I mean,
they just don't make any sense. It's like I'm walking along with my girlfriend and wham, I just knocked her over the head and killed her.
Well, but the thing is so many of those are based on real murders,
yeah.
And once you start researching, you find out. I mean, Knoxville Girl, the guy that can't think of his name now, a British fellow who researched that, he found out the true story on that. And the woman was pregnant with his baby, and he killed her. Ew. But it doesn't say it in Knoxville Girl. In The Bloody Butcher, you get an idea that maybe that's what it is, which is the predecessor to it. But anyway, murder ballads, violent stuff like that. I mean, it ain't like the Cramps, my TV set, where he cuts off the person's head and puts it in the TV set, and they watch the head.
Okay. Now that's weird.
But murder ballads, there's nothing. But the Cramps were always that way. I love them.
Well, I got one from 1969, Bobby Gentry, Fancy.
Yeah.
Which is, the subject matter is basically a mother instructing her teenage daughter and buying her dresses and things so that she can go out and be a successful prostitute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but she's not exactly a prostitute. She's sort of a, she could also be a looking for the sugar daddy.
Oh, well, subtle difference.
Yeah, I mean, more than being a prostitute, being a hoe. There's a subtle difference, don't you think?
My hookers from my hose.
There's a song title right there. It just writes itself.
Right, know your hookers from your hose.
Yeah, and Reba McEntire.
Keep your hookers out of my hose.
Reba McEntire did a cover of it that became a bigger hit than Bobby Gentry's version.
I think I remember hearing that she had a song called Fancy.
Yeah, it was. I
just know it was like Iggy Azalea
odd...
did a rap song called Fancy, which is just the worst rap song ever.
But Bobby Gentry's kind of famous for having
stories.
Yeah, stories that you don't quite know what she's saying.
Yeah. And Bobby,
what did she drop off the Tallahassee Bridge?
That we don't know that.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty weird hit too. I mean,
that's true.
Not only the subject matter, but just the fact that it's just the instrumentation, her plunky that guitar and then the strings behind her. It's
She's a mystery. She just disappeared.
She did. Yeah, she married Jim Stafford, and I guess they got divorced.
One-hit wonder then, right? We were talking about.
Well, no, she wasn't a one-hit wonder. No? She had some other hits.
Okay.
But she disappeared. I mean, she purposely
stopped.
Yeah, and people who've tracked her down, she won't talk to them.
Huh. Bill Withers kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, Bill Withers, though, I mean, his was a little bit different, just that he just got tired of the music industry, but he wasn't hard to find. He just wouldn't talk about it and was done with it.
Subtle difference.
Yeah. Well, subtle difference is Bobby Gentry didn't want to talk to anybody.
Oh. Okay.
Wayne, have you still not listened to Olivia Rodrigo?
I haven't listened to the full album. I like Olivia Rodrigo.
You've been saying for over a year.
I know.
I've talked about her, and I talk about her again.
I just need to order the CD rather than try to.
Well, she's had 3 now.
I know, but the one that you were telling me about.
Well, this is where I fell in love with her, and I think you could. Her very first song that I heard was called "Brutal," and it starts out with these strings, and you hear her I guess in the studio or whatever. She goes, "I want it to be messy." And then it takes this riff from Elvis Costello's Pump It Up, 1978. She takes a riff from that, and there's video game music, and there's strings, and it bounces all over the place, and she's singing, and she's rapping, and it's about teen angst. And I've never heard a teen angst song with so much contrast and everything. I thought, this kid's going places. You knew she knew her stuff, and she wanted to be like an old rocker, even though she's still a teenager. And cool song. So
I'm going to order that CD that you're talking about.
First one, that's Sour.
Okay. I'm going to order.
Start with Sour.
Because I just can't remember to. I mean, I hate streaming anyway. I just want a CD, album I can listen to.
Also, when I'm on the weird, I want to talk about Old Town Road, Lil Nas X,
that's pretty
Billy Ray
strange.
Cyrus. Very strange. You have a black gay riot rapper and old country star Billy Ray Cyrus. And they join up, and it's a hip-hop country blues sex anthem. and what is it?
AI ain't going to come up with that.
Yeah, I think the repeated chorus is, "You can't tell me nothing." So that just, people are finding ways to just do really weird hodgepodge music, which I like. I've got some other things here that the music's not really odd as much as the lyrics like you're doing and all that, but I just had to get those out of the way.
Well, I've got some total weird. We were talking about Nervous Norvis when we were driving around today. Nervous Norvis has a song called Transfusion. Sort of fits in with those Dead Teenager songs because it's about about a guy who likes to get drunk and drive, and then he always has a wreck, and the chorus is always transfusion, confusion.
And then he made Ape Call.
Yeah.
That was a follow-up. Ape Call.
But with transfusion, it's always, slip a gallon to me, Alan, or whatever. It's like, he just needs blood transfusion because he's been in a car wreck.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
I want to talk about Moo by Doja Cat, and then I'm going to talk about something else from there. But 2018, she was still trying to break it. She's now one of the biggest R&B singers and hip-hop rappers, but she was frustrated trying to break in, so she just did a song called Moo, and the chorus is just moo, 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 and she's like, "Bitch, I'm a cow, bitch, I'm a cow," and she's walking around with these loose halter tops and everything. They're just kind of barely holding her in, and it was really a feminist song because she was sexually exploiting herself and making it as ridiculous as she could. She had French fries up her nose, and that became her first hit. But from that, she ended up getting credibility, and all that. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. And another one I want to talk about, this is kind of what social media is kind of doing. There's a song called Sudno, and it's by this Belarus band called Molchat Doma. And it's got this heavy reverb. It sounds like an old goth kind of music and everything. And it's and you just hear the guitar reverbing and everything, this kind of heavy beat. And it's celebrating, it's like a melancholy song that's celebrating culture behind the Iron Curtain. I know this is weird, and it's from 2018, so it's not even like old goth times.
Right.
But that song is being used over and over, and they slow it down so you get this slow reverb, and you can see all of these pages, like social media pages that are using that song, and you're just getting these flashes of Eastern European countries with these really gray buildings, lifeless buildings and snowy streets and everything. And it's sort of like a cultural thing. It's not really sad. It's just sort of this ongoing melancholy of living in Eastern Europe. Huh. But there's some kind of romance to it. There's sort of, and I get it too, because I've been there, but not just that. Just looking at it, it's like, you see like these little dingy apartments and these gray buildings and snowy streets and people, like dirty dishes in the sink or whatever. Nobody's really got money, but there's just something kind of echoing in it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's got and social media has done that, because you can just be going through reels and you say, oh, that's a cute cut puppy. Right. There's people scaring people, and then you just hear the you see these old buildings and like some of them are like I think Bosnia and Sarajevo and Hungary and Bulgaria, and then you see kind of Russian stuff, but it's really kind of cool and definitely weird for happening now.
I need to hear this one. That's different.
Well, I've got a band. I think I may have talked about them in here before, but they played here in Knoxville at the Big Ears Festival, and it's a 13-piece band led by a guy named Simon Hames. They're called Tradici Baci, and they have horns, they have strings, they have drums, bass, guitar, keys, and they have this female singer who's obviously operatically trained, and she's not really singing words so much as just vocalizing these super high, and it sounds like sci-fi movie soundtracks. Some of it sounds like 70s TV show soundtracks. It's amazingly well done. The guy sounds like he's listened to a lot of Danny Elfman, who's done soundtrack work for Batman and all the big, huge hits.
He was Big Adventure.
But also he was in Oingo Boingo, which was a new wave band in L.A., also pretty weird.
Oh, yeah.
And but anyway, Tradici Baci, and they have an album that came out in 2024, and it is called Brave New World. And it's just supremely weird, but really well done, and they're super energetic about it. And it's a fun listen.
It sounds cool.
That's a band I haven't seen at Big Ear, so I need to, when they come back, I need to see
Hopefully they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about the Residents are about to go on tour.
Really?
Yes, to support the album Eskimo, which is being re-released. And the Residents are, everything they've done is super, super strange. But these are guys that, as far as we know, may have come from Louisiana and went to San Francisco, and they never show their faces. They got famous as wearing the big eyeball heads.
Right. Yeah.
But everything they do is so strange. But they've been at it since like 1972 or something like that. I can't remember when they actually formed, but they were sending off tapes to different companies, and one of them came back just with Residents. So when it came back as Resident, they just call themselves the Residents.
That's their name.
But the idea that they're going on tour is just like insane to me. I think I can't believe they've not been booked at Big Ears yet, but they're terrific and weird.
Yeah. I kind of think
the same people, though?
Yeah, so I think. Who knows who they are? So.
Oh, that's right. They could be like second, third generation at this point.
They're all anonymous, so who knows?
Well, kind of along that line, I'm going further back, but They Might Be Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum Wage.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum Wage. It's a 40-second song.
I love it.
And the only lyrics are minimum wage, yeah! And then after that, you get this it's kind of this retro futuristic kind of ballroom music. I don't know if you listen to it, but it sounds kind of like a sci-fi ballroom, a reconfigured. And it's just 40 seconds long, and it just it says so much to me, because it's like people living on minimum wage. You can't live on minimum wage.
Right.
And you're living at the mercy of all the people who'd be in this ballroom, throwing money around. But it's just such a funny little burst of a song. Like I say, it's only 40 seconds long.
They're so great at writing cool pop miniatures.
Yeah.
And they'll write about anything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like...
And there's only two of them, right?
The two main guys, both the Johns, Flansburgh and... gosh, this other one's name's gonna
Flannery?
Linnell.
Linnell.
John Flansburgh and Linnell. I've only talked with Flansburgh. He's always loads of fun.
Yeah.
But everything they do is so just, we got this crazy idea, let's do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah, and they had the dial-a-song thing where back in the days where you would dial up, you could dial and they'd have a new song every day.
Yeah.
That
You
you
just
could,
dial up and listen on your phone to
Yeah.
the new song they just wrote.
that's what they would do. I loved it. But yeah, they're one of the greatest weirdo bands ever. But Flansburgh said, we're just a new wave band. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, you're new wave, but you're like some
More
other
than
wave.
that, right.
And if you really want to treat yourself, go on YouTube and just look up They Might Be Giant videos. Because their videos are so creative and they're all over the place.
And they're great to, my kids and my grandkids, or I guess it started with my grandkids and my nieces and nephews, but they have these kids albums that teach you the ABCs and mathematics and science.
Catchy as they can be.
I know, and it's something you can watch with your kids and enjoy it, and it's just so much fun. I mean, it's on an adult level. It's like
It's a tough needle to thread.
yeah, but they're terrific.
I got so many. I'm going to go to Codename Rondo by Ghostland Observatory. Do you remember?
I remember Ghostland Observatory, but I don't remember that
Okay,
name.
this came out in 2010, and it's an Austin duo.
Uh-huh.
And it's just got this kind of like little gritty guitar, and it's mostly a spoken word thing. And it's a guy what's he doing? He's discussing, he's planning a caper with whoever he's talking to. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, you got to meet this guy, and he's in a red pickup truck, and make sure you give him what he wants and all this stuff. But he says, also, I'm thirsty. I need a drink. You need to go to the slushy station and get me a drink. He said, make it a suicide because the clerk will charge you extra if you suicide when you get all the different flavors in one. So make sure the clerk doesn't see you because he'll charge you extra. Yeah. And then he's like talking, he gets a call, and it's from Dimitri, and Dimitri is just this little computer, so Dimitri is talking to him, and it's just so far out there. And you don't know if it's like a drug deal or a sex thing, because he's talking about, tell him it's like a kiss on top of his pretty please, and then the music stops, and it just kind of ends with him just going, just over and over. So it's like from beginning to end, it's just, again, that's Codename Rondo, Ghostland Observatory. I think I liked their whole album that year, the 2010 album.
This is sounding familiar. I think you may have made me listen to that.
I'm sure I made you listen to that. Yeah. We were forcing each other to listen to a lot of stuff. Probably in retaliation for something you made me listen to.
Maybe. It's possible. Well, Pete and I were talking about earlier Wildman Fisher. Wildman Fisher was a Frank Zappa discovery. He was a street musician in the 60s, and he kept on doing it. He was on Dr. Demento's show.
And he didn't play any instruments either.
No, he would just start making up these crazy-ass songs. Like The Taster is probably the most famous one. And it's just like about tasting things, and I'm the taster.
Right.
He was schizophrenic. The cover of his album was a double album. It was called An Evening with Wildman Fisher.
Oh.
It featured a picture of him holding a very long, scary-looking knife at his mother's throat. And it's the sort of thing, if you had that album, you were either way into weirdness, or you were somebody that you needed to get out of the house real soon.
You might be on a list somewhere.
Yes, you might be.
They probably put trackers out anytime they sold one of those albums.
But he had a Christmas song called I'm a Christmas Tree, and all it was him screaming, I'm a Christmas tree.
And didn't he put in there, I'm a Hanukkah bush?
Yeah, I'm a Hanukkah bush. That's what's in there.
Well, you going to say something, John?
Oh, okay, yeah. How about? Well, this one we've discussed Esquivel before.
Yep.
It borders on Tropicalia, but
Yeah.
it's also supremely weird.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's all kinds of zoo 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 lyrics and
Right.
weird instruments, and he was one of the first of his time to really expand stereo. There were things going all over the place, left and right, and that people didn't do that. He called it space age bachelor music.
Yeah.
It's supremely weird, but a good listen.
Yeah.
Esquivel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he used electronics like long before other people were using electronics.
Sure.
He was in with Raymond Scott was doing this sort. Raymond Scott's the guy. He had the Raymond Scott Quintet, which it was never a quintet. It was just him with whatever musicians he came up with. But that's where a lot of the Warner Brothers music came from, is they used Raymond Scott Quintet songs, like Powerhouse. It's one of the biggest ones. It was used over and over in Warner Brothers cartoons.
Okay.
So when you got, I mean, I have a collection of his songs and some of the stuff on 78, but it sounds like cartoon music, even though it wasn't written for cartoons.
Well, and there's some other exotica that sounds like cartoon music too. There's like a whole weird side of exotica. A lot of it's like Polynesian culture or whatever, and it's like soothing. But it goes into, you get aliens. And, I mean, it ventures off into some weird angles, and Esquivel's like probably the leader, really mixing up the references and everything.
Yeah. But yeah, his stuff is cool.
I want to go back to Texas. Wayne, this is someone you interviewed, and against all odds.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Yes. And I don't know why I haven't been able to talk about him yet, but against all odds, I'm a much bigger fan of his than you are.
I know. He's played here.
I know.
Several
and it
times.
makes no sense at all. But his name is Bob Log 3, and he's a one-man band from Texas. He plays like a slide guitar. But and my favorite song is I know.
Tell us what that song is.
It's called "Clap Your Tits," and it's this insane racing beat, and there's some and the percussive. It's just like totally chaotic. It sounds like just like a hillbilly, I don't know, zombie infestation or something like that. And he hired two women who may or may not have been women of ill repute to come into the studio and pound their breasts.
Was it an instrumental?
Yeah, it's an instrumental. Well, no, it's not an instrumental. No.
Instrumental.
He tells people what to do.
Yeah. He's hard to pick out because he's got this. He's shouting all the way through it.
He wears a space helmet.
Yeah, he wears a space helmet. He's shouting all the way through it, and then the instrumental breakdowns. It's these women that are like slapping their breasts, or as he says it a different way. And it inspired him to write another song called Boob Scotch, which is about women putting their hearts in your drink. That Boob Scotch isn't as but Clap Your Tits. The thing I like about that song is it's just so insane and so over the top and so much energy. And there's like a remix or something where you can just hear the women and they're like laughing at each other. Yeah,
that's a dub version.
Yeah. And but I was writing a screenplay then about this insane kind of hillbilly zombies. It wasn't hillbilly zombies, but anyway. And whenever I needed a push, I would just put that song on and let it play over and over and over for like half an hour or so. And I would be just sweating at the end of it, but my mind would just keep going, and I would just be able to think of all these scenarios for these people who are trapped out in the country trying to save themselves.
And what's the name of the song again, Chuck?
I can't remember. But it's Bob Log 3, and it's not, I don't know. It was 1999, so things were a little okay then. And these women, they were paid and they did their thing. And they seem to be having they're laughing, and you can hear their jewelry jangling and everything while they're doing their part.
Probably one take. It reminds me of Rusty Warren and Bounce Your Boobies.
Yeah. Well, he was a fun guy to interview, and
he'd have to be. I don't know how.
Yeah, I
don't know how serious he takes anything, but it's. There, what he does is just raw and
very raw,
but
fun, and just the fact that we can get you to talk about that song and you love that song so much is it.
I did. I have to admit that was the same year that my favorite Bloodhound Gang album came out. So I think I just had something.
It was a lost weekend.
Yeah, something very perverse.
You fell in love with foulness in such a profound way.
Yeah.
The Bloodhound Gang were even more unpolitically correct than Bob Log.
Yeah, they were. But I got it right, after that. So
Yeah, well, but it warms my heart to know that, you still love that song.
I do still love that song. I keep thinking, how can I bring that song back? I mean, that's one of the main reasons I even came up with this topic. It's like, I need to talk about that song and get it off my chest.
Oh, yeah, well.
You were talking about Oingo Boingo, and
Which one of you?
I was.
Yeah.
you
Okay.
were, yeah. And I think I saw something that was Oingo Boingo, and it was an instrumental, and it was pure mayhem. Danny Elfman had a Piper Cub here, and had gas coming out at the end, and some woman was just doing all this. I'm pretty sure it was saying Oingo Boingo.
Well, they made a movie. I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but they're featured all the way through it. And that sounds like it came from that. It's all sorts of really weird, fun stuff. But you can find it on YouTube. I haven't watched it straight through.
I don't know the name of the song.
Yeah, but that was when it was the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo. Oh. That was their full name back then.
Really great horn charts in Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
For a new wave band, you wouldn't think they'd have trombones and trumpets, and they're just like herky-jerky.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff.
Well, the whole band is in that movie, so you ought to, if you haven't seen it, you ought to see it.
And we don't know the name of it.
I'll have to look it up, but it shows up every once in a while.
All right.
But that's classic. I don't even know how to follow Bob Log.
I've got some more chaotic songs. So I can just wipe them off.
Okay, well, we'll do a couple of those.
Okay, so another one would be L7, the all-woman kind of punk band.
Right, yeah.
They have this song called Mantra Down. And I don't know if I remember, I would sing this all the time at work when I was all stressed out.
Right.
Because the verse is just, I got my mantra down, I got my mantra down, I got my mantra down, I got my mantra down. And then the chorus is ultraviolet light, such a violent life. And those are all the lyrics of the song. So she just kept doing, I got my mantra down, I got my mantra down. So it's kind of like mantras. And I also want to bring up this song from Moby called Thousand. It was on his first album, his debut album, and it was only on the German version of it. Mm-hmm. And the beats per minute of that song are so insane. Is that an 8 or a 0?
50. That's 50.
Okay, I saw the 5. Okay. But 1,000 means the beats per minute in this song go up to 1,015 beats per minute. And I think...
How can you even hear that?
Oh, you'll want to hear it once and never again. You just get so anxious because it winds up. And it's just an insane... I mean, nobody can be expected to dance to that or anything like that. And there's some shouting woman, I believe, in it. But it's just way over the top. And I think there are no firm records on these type of things, but it's referred to often as the song, the most common artist who has the most beats per minute. I'm sure there's some underground artists who can do more of that, but it's just so overwhelming. I mean, it makes it L7 sound like a Frank Sinatra ballad or something.
That Oingo Boingo movie is called The Forbidden Zone. It's from 1982.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a group from, I really like their Australian band called Bumblebees. Mm-hmm. And it's this noisy hip-hop rock distortion. They had a song called Pony Ride. Mm-hmm. And the best part of that is the video. It's like they're bobbleheads. And they're just all walking down these paths and everything. And you just have to see it. It's called Ride the Pony, gotta get it up, gotta ride. Anyway... I can't do that song justice, but the video, Pony Ride, Bumblebees, EEZ. I think that's probably the extent of the insane over the top. Oh, no!
What?
You scared me.
Yeah.
Sick to Death by Atari Teenage Riot.
Yeah.
Sick to Death. So normally Alec Empire was the lead singer. It's a punk group from Germany, from Belgium, from Berlin. But they have Nikendo. She's usually a secondary singer, and she's singing lead. And it's just again, intense beat, and she's like, I'm sick to death like I've never been sick before. Sick to death like I've never been sick before. And she goes, sick to death. And then she just goes, burn, Berlin, burn, burn, Berlin. It's just crazy, over the top. I think maybe I had a lot of energy in the 90s.
Impromptu, it sounds like.
Yeah. It just, and it'll stop, and you'll just hear these sirens and this whoop, whoop, like that. So definitely letting Nick and she ended up going on and doing some solo albums that were slightly more sedate.
Well, let me bring up, while we're talking about, these weird, chaotic groups, the Fugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Fugs are from the 60s, and it was a poet and a journalist.
Okay.
and kind of a folk singer, sort of. And they were very political. They would get up and they would do poetry. They'd make music to the poetry. They would basically have these skits that would come up. And my favorite thing, if you've never heard the Fugs, you need to listen to the song "The Divine Toe" Part 1. It is like it's a sort of a mashup of some of their best bits from the era. And it was released promotionally, but it turned out great. But you're hearing all these different things come up in this song, and all of a sudden you have this woman say, "Donkey scrotum and saran wrap."
Like you do.
Like you do. And you're like, wait.
Wow.
What is this?
Donkey or doggy? I'm
Donkey.
not sure it matters.
Donkey scrotum and saran wrap.
I don't know which is worse.
Which is a visual, once you hear it, you can't get it out of your head. But they have a great song. While we're talking slightly foul, they have a song called "River of Shit" that sounds like a gospel song, and it's wonderful. But they are, Frank Zappa hated getting compared to them because they were kind of non-musical in a way.
Right.
And then, but they draw from some of the same sources. Sick humor from the 50s and beat poets and things like that. Ed Sanders, who was the journalist of the group and also kind of the most successful, he did things later, but he went after the Manson family, after the murders. I think it was for Crawdaddy magazine, I can't remember which magazine it was, but he went and spent a couple of weeks with the Manson family, to write a book about it. And it's out of print, but it's one of the best books about it, because it's like he actually talks to them. He thinks they've all been framed in the beginning of it, and by the end of the book, it's like, get your ass out of there now. But it's great. And Ed Sanders is still around. Tuli Kupfenberg, who was the poet of the group, I think he died a few years ago. But the Fugs, I think their best album is "It Crawled Into My Hand, Honest."
I know that one.
Yeah.
I won 2 bottles of Beaujolais on the Fugs. Some guy says, "Nah, there's no," so you're full of it, And I showed him.
And of course, the word "fug" means a nasty smell.
I wanted to, in the 90s when we had the New Age music and all that, and you had Enigma with the Gregorian chants, and you had Anya doing all the overdubbing of her vocal for Orinoco Flow. I think my favorite song that came out of that was maybe the weirdest, and that was the French group Deep Forest, and they had this song called Sweet Lullaby. Yeah. And it was like a lot of world music and everything, and that was beautiful and all. But they took this folk recording, like old historic recording of a woman in the Solomon Islands singing. And that's the main vocal. And there's something just really sad in the vocal, but you don't know what it is because the song has this real, like caressing kind of vibe to it. But the song, what she's singing is about one boy comforting his little brother because both of their parents have died.
Oh.
And it's like, and you can feel... it's a weird song and everything, but you can feel, without knowing what she's even singing about, you can feel it's something really sad. But we also call it the Saucy Sauce song because it starts with her going, saucy sauce, da, da, da. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I wanted to talk about, real quick, there's a song called Witchcraft by Book of Love. I've mentioned them before. It's a 3-woman, 1-man New York group. And all 3 of the women sing together on this. And what they're doing is, it sounds like a rap song. It's from '88, but it's not a rap song. It's an incantation. It's a spell. They're casting a spell.
Oh, my gosh.
And they're using lyrics from bewitched names. So it's kind of like Macbeth, the 3 witches casting a spell with bewitched imagery. But the song is actually really kind of like, because it's an electronic, it's got this kind of chugging beat, and the women's vocals just flow in and out of each other, and it's just like really, it's kind of cool. That's when I wanted to play at my funeral, because I wanted people to wonder if they were having a spell cast on them while they're thinking about me being dead. So that was when they came up.
Is there only three people in it, or three
There are
girls?
four. There are three women and a man.
Okay.
And the main woman is Susan Ottaviano, and she's usually the main singer. But the other two women, one of the women, the other woman is Lauren Rosselli, who is in Silence of the Lambs. She was the one who used to work with the first victim, and they're playing another Book of Love song in that movie.
Huh.
So.
Interesting. Well, did any of you like Lena Lovitch?
Yeah. It's You, Only You?
Oh, no, the one that I always liked is Telepathy.
Okay.
But she was on Stiff
So
Records.
over the top.
Oh, she's so crazy.
So over the top.
But she's wonderful. I mean, her version of I Think We're Alone Now, the Tommy James and the Shondells hit, it's great. It's way better than his.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like she does all these vocals like wee 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 through the whole thing. Instead of the instruments, it's her voice.
Yeah. She's
Scat
crazy.
singing.
She's
Kinda.
It's like the music is real theatrical, and then her voices are so melodramatic. What I liked about It's You, Only You, she's talking about how she's tortured by this guy and everything, but she still wants him. She goes, I know what I want, and I'm sure I can get it.
And she does have it's like kind of a Broadway-ish kind of a sound to her voice.
Just like over the top. Yeah,
Yeah, but
like
she's back on tour. She was touring with who was it? Anyway, some other acts from the 90s.
Oh,
or from
yeah,
the 80s.
I saw that. It wasn't the Bees. Was it the Go-Go? No, it wasn't the Go-Go.
I think the B-52s actually were on that same
They
tour.
were. It was B-52s and Devo.
Diva, yeah.
And
that was
Lena
it.
Lovitch, yeah.
Yeah. And, because my friend Jerry
And I always
just
thought
saw
she
him.
was like European or Scandinavian. She's from Detroit.
Yeah. Well, she was in that wave, the same wave of Stiff Records, which started in England and had Elvis Costello and Madness and all these great, new wave, early kind of punk ska and different groups like that. They came to the U.S. to do a talent search. Mm-hmm. And they found Rachel Sweet, who I think was in like Akron, Ohio or someplace.
Okay.
And then they found Lena Lovitch. And I can't think.
Don't tell me Nina Hagen.
No, not Nina Hagen. But I can't remember who the others were. But those were the two that like kind of made a dent.
Right.
But yeah, they were on Stiff Records, but they were like Americans that nobody else had ever paid any attention to.
Right.
And yeah, but Lena is just like, she seems like she comes not from another country, but from another world.
She definitely seems kind of alien-like.
Yeah.
You remember Art of Noise?
Oh, yeah.
And Close to the Edit? Mm-hmm. I thought that was like one of the most creative songs. That was in '84.
Yeah.
It was an avant-garde group. They were from Britain, I think. But the video for that song, Close to the Edit, it's just all... Do you remember this, John? I know you'd like it. It's like they use this different music. And the video is cool because they're just on this like rail yard, train. There's no rail cars or anything, but they're just destroying every instrument they get a hold of. Yeah. And there's a little girl who's dressed up as a punk. I thought it was like a little person, but I think it's just a little girl. Yeah. And she's going around and pointing for them to like destroy things.
Uh-huh.
And they're just like kind of going in. And it's just like so choreographed with the music, and the music is just like a.
You say it's Close to the Edit?
Close to the Edit by Art of Noise, yeah.
They were a thing on MTV about the same time that Cabaret Voltaire was, and they were also an odd group.
I was looking at these like MTV things because Rocket, Herbie Hancock, that was one of the first uses of turntables like in mainstream, and it was like jazz and electro and hip hop all coming together. And of course, that had a really innovative video too, and that's kind of
all robots.
Yeah, it was all robots, and these are the acts. There were a lot of acts that were just kind of like branching. Whip It by Devo that came out before MTV launched, but MTV launched right after that.
Yeah. Well, the good thing was that Devo they were already making videos long. That was one of their main things, and so when MTV came, they had a backlog, and MTV was starved for new videos, and so they played a bunch of Devo stuff.
Yeah, Whip It became a standard, and it was controversial at the time, and kind of still is, because they tie up a woman and they're whipping her clothes off. It's a little bit controversial,
right?
But that was like right before, and
there's a great Devo documentary out on Netflix right now. I think I recommended it. I think I recommended it a couple of weeks back.
You did, and I haven't watched it yet, but it's
a great story.
List. Oh, here's another one. I don't know if you remember this. It's 1983. Again, the early MTV days. Anything went. And photographer Lynn Goldsmith, do you remember her?
Yeah.
She created an act called Willpower.
Oh,
and
I remember
a song
that.
called It's You.
Yeah.
And all it is a self-help
Yeah.
video telling people how you can get your life in order, and you can manifest, become. And it's you, all in you. It's you, and just like, you are a unique person. She's using a modified voice to be the voice, and it's like, how that came about, I don't know. But again, it was like in the early days of MTV, they were trying anything, and in '83 they were playing that over and over again.
I always thought that was kind of the predecessor to Max Headroom. Which
I did too.
Yeah,
I thought they were even related, because Max Headroom came out soon after that. I thought this is some kind of concept, but I think she just came up with it. So she was one of the characters. I don't know. There's so many that Annie, I'm Not Your Daddy by Kid Creole and the Coconuts. Now, that song.
That's one of your favorites. You've always loved it.
Which was a lot of fun. What?
You've always loved that band.
I loved it. Well, that song, I mean, it's Caribbean jazz. It's like big band, but with the tropical flavor. And he's like this dandy, and he's singing. And the Endicott song's the one a lot of people know, but Annie, I'm Not Your Daddy, which was a big hit in Britain. See, that was 1982. Again, MTV was born August 1st, 1981. So, but he had this cruel streak to him, but he's just like, Annie, I'm not your daddy, your mom this and that, Annie, I'm not your daddy. And then the Coconuts are saying, break it to me gently now, don't forget I'm just a child. But then he goes, then he has his zinger line. He goes, see, if I was in your blood, then you wouldn't be so ugly. So they didn't like that. They started beating him up in that.
Well, is Die Antwoord on your list?
No.
No? You don't consider them weird?
Well, they're kind of Nazi-ish or something. There's some
what?
There's some kind of weird. They're from South Africa.
Yeah.
And they kind of have been, I mean, it's not, I don't have any reason to think there's anything wrong with them. But they've got some, go ahead.
Oh, I just thought, they're one of those bands that as soon as you see them, you think, we're in for something very different. And, and their music was, it's kind of rap, hip-hop something. I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But
she's weirdo, too. I mean, they've got weird music, and I don't know.
Everything about it just looks like you found someone in a part of town you never wanted to go to and brought them out.
It's got
something
kind of
dirty.
a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome vibe to it.
Yeah, they kind of look like that.
Like wearing shoulder pads, but half naked, and it's mohawks and just craziness. But they played at Bonnaroo. I caught a little of their set. I don't think that music was made for me.
I was kind of like them.
I just didn't look deeply enough to see what connection they have. They may have just been embraced by a subset of the wrong people.
Oh, I didn't know anything about that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they got real popular real fast, and then the truth of some of their beliefs came out, and they went real unpopular real fast.
Well, I should have investigated them a little bit
more.
more.
Talk about Bob Logg some more.
What's the name of that song, Chuck, that you like so much?
I don't remember. Clapping something. Clap your body part, ladies.
I have a delightfully weird band that I heard at the Big Ears Music Festival here a couple of years back. They're from Bogota, Colombia, and they're called the Meridian Brothers. And it's one guy. His name is Eblis Alvarez. On the albums, he records all the parts, but he has a band that performs them live. He's a huge star in Colombia, and it's cumbia and salsa, but it's also just got weirdness coming at you from all angles. He sings the strangest melodies, and he sings in voices. He'll sing like he's like making voices up, and it's all in Spanish, so I don't know what any of it's about.
Yeah.
But they have an album out from 2024 I listened to today in the car, and I was just giggling while I was listening to it because it's just so silly.
So many great Latin genres that we don't know that much about, and when you mix them up, you can come up with some just fascinating.
I really sometimes think the most interesting music comes from just like one person. If they've got a really good vision and they can see it through. Because, Todd Rundgren said there's no room for democracy in rock and roll. So I don't know.
Maybe.
I know. Some of my favorite bands are the most democratic in the world. The
Todd
Beatles.
is Todd. I love Todd's music, but he's not always right.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
Since you were bringing up, we've talked about Big Ears a bunch. I want to bring up Captain Beefheart because one of the co-founders of Big Ears and the guy that's basically the figurehead of it all, Ashley Capps, one of his big acts, I've known Ashley for a long time, is Captain Beefheart. And Trout Mask Replica is one of those albums where you love it or you hate it, or you're just confounded by it, which is...
I don't really understand it.
Well...
It's weirdness for the sake of weirdness, and it's not really that entertaining. Other Captain Beefheart albums are just mind-blowingly good.
Well, my favorite Captain Beefheart song is Ashtray Heart, because I really do, I feel that.
Use me like an ashtray heart.
Yeah, I mean, that you can get that. But Trout Mask Replica has a song called Ella Guru on it, and Ashley named his club that he had for a while Ella Guru's, which, direct tribute to Captain Beefheart, one of the strangest music artists of all time. The band, he basically had a cult. He made his band stay and practice 20 hours a day, and he would compose these things on piano, and he couldn't play piano, but they were expected to reproduce them on their own instruments. And
his advice for guitar players was listen to the birds.
The real birds.
No, the birds in the trees.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Yes.
Good advice.
Take your advice from the birds.
Yeah.
That's how I want you to play guitar.
But anyway, his whole catalog of music, some of it is just sounds like blues revival kind of stuff, and then some of it is as strange and discordant as anything you'll ever hear.
And he's got the widest range of voice too. He can sing gut belly like the old blues guy from Chess guy, Lightning Hopkins.
Okay.
No, Hound Dog.
You're talking about Howlin' Wolf.
Howlin' Wolf, yes. He can sound like Howlin' Wolf, and then he can be soprano way the hell up there and he can do all points in between. His voice is an amazing thing.
But all of his music nearly all of it is strange.
It is pretty strange.
That's how I feel about Laurie Anderson. I know you feel that way about her too.
Well,
There's something from '82 I wanted to bring up.
Oh, go ahead.
She did example number 22.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember this song. A lot of the songs that she was known for were bigger hits and more conventional. This one is anything but, because it starts out with she's speaking in German, and then she's got this weird wonky voice. It's going, the sun is shining slowly, and then there's some man talking, and then there's some backward voices. And my favorite part is there's a German guy, and what he's saying is your sound. I only hear your sound. I don't know your language. I do know your language, but I hear your sound. And he's going, Ihren Klang, ich verstehe die Sprachen, ich verstehe die Sprachen nicht. Ich hear nur Ihren Klang. And then she comes back in, and there's all these trumpets and everything going off, and it just never makes sense. But that's what she says. Oh, gosh. Okay. Last one I have to mention is Susie and the Banshees. Before I was into them, 1979, they did the Lord's Prayer.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And it was 15 minutes long. And it was absolute chaos. The music was just pure punk. And she was just unhinged the whole thing. She actually does the Lord's Prayer. She's like, Our Father, who art in heaven. And then she's talking about the knocking on the door, will you answer the door? And then she goes, floats like a butterfly, sings like a bee. And for 15 minutes. And I think it was a Rolling Stone critic said it was god awful. And they pronounced Susie and the Banshees dead, and then they just got bigger and bigger. So
it's kind of terrifying to listen to it.
I can only do it because I like her and I like them and I understand them now. So whatever they were going through then, it's okay. We got to go to the recommendations.
I'm ready.
What do you want to go with?
Well, tell you what. Since let's recommend music first, since my musical recommendation falls into our subject.
Okay, yeah, mine too.
I want to recommend, and I may have recommended it at some point a long time ago before, Gravichords, Whirlies, and Pyrophones.
Say that again.
Gravichords, Whirlies, and Pyrophones, and it is a collection of songs by experimental musical instruments, using experimental musical instruments, compiled by Bart Hopkin. And every song on it has some instrument that someone has created. And this is my favorite is probably from Hans Reichel, who composed this thing called Le Ball, and he created what he called daxophones, which are musical instruments made from strips of wood. And he will bow them, and he will scrape them, and it sounds like, as I describe it, it's going to sound horrible, but it's actually really cool to listen to. It sort of sounds like music made by farts. because it's got this really.
Always wondered.
It's got.
I've tried.
These musical instruments have this real kind of throaty sound to them. It's hard to describe until you hear it. But he's also got like a gravichord, which Robert Grawley created, and they sort of sound like a gamelan, another instrument that's actually a real ethnic instrument. But it has sort of a harpish kind of quality. It kind of sounds like a combination of a harp and a auto harp. And some of it's beautiful. It's got Sugar Adina by a guy called. Hang on, I think he's Jamaican, but a fellow called himself Sugar Belly, and he decided to make an instrument that sounds like a saxophone. And basically, it looks like he's blowing into a wad of duct tape. Because he created...
And it sounds like a saxophone?
It sounds like a weird saxophone.
I wonder where it picks up the resonance.
Well, inside it. It's like some kind of a little metal box or something, like an Altoids box or something, and he blows a reed into it, and it's weirdly beautiful. It kind of sounds like a cross between a kazoo and a saxophone. But it had that resonance, that trill that you can get out of a saxophone. It's great. And then there's another one where a guy has just cut, like, I guess it's PVC pipes of some sort, but he's banging on these tubes, and it sounds like surf music. It sounds like Dick Dale should be playing along with it.
Cool.
But anyway, it is a great collection, and it is weird from start to finish. Okay. And you will, as I did probably, you slowly fall in love with nearly every one of these songs. And they're just
not too slowly, I hope. I get impatient.
Well, I think you
can I get it in three plays, or
I think
if
some
it's
of
10,
it,
I won't do it.
Yeah, three is plenty.
Okay.
I think there are things on here that you would love, and it
sounds quite possible.
Yeah. And there's a follow up. It's not quite as good. I can't remember what that album is called, but Bart Hopkins compiled 2 of these. And I love it when people make up new musical instruments and sounds that you haven't heard, because there's a lot of sounds on here that you've never heard these before. And they're musical and weird and wonderful.
John?
Okay, this is a band from Baltimore that I was going to put in my bands that I think are weird. They played at the Big Ears Festival a couple of times. And I may have talked about them before. They're called the Horse Lords.
I don't think so.
You describe it and it's think, well, standard rock. I mean, they got bass, drums, a guy playing a saxophone, and a full array of percussion things, almost a full kit. He's got a kick drum and a snare drum and all kinds of cymbals and stuff. And then a guitar player who's playing, it's a no-name guitar. It's been just painted, at least when I saw him, just a no-name guitar. It's been spray painted white, and all of the electronics have been taken out of. There's a pickup and a plug. But he's also moved some of the frets around so that they're slightly out of tune. And their music is almost like Steve Reich-ish, sort of like cyclical stuff.
Yeah.
It's real trance-like. At times kind of reminds me of Talking Heads in the sort of African phase. They've got an album out from 2022 called Comradely Objects. All of their albums are good. It's kind of mathematical, but it's also... It's very polyrhythmic. I don't know. I really like them a lot.
All right.
Horse Lords.
Horse Lords. Okay. Mine's definitely another weirdo act. It's called the Dream Eaters. Have you seen them on social media?
No.
Okay. So it's these 2 bartenders, Jack Zafraki and Elizabeth LeBaron. They were bartenders together, and they were in Brooklyn, I think, and they decided to create a band. And it's kind of like a new wave and synth and everything, and the songs are ridiculously absurd. Some of them are short. It's just like they have a lot of songs that are under 30 seconds. This album, The Dream Eaters, We Are the Dream Eaters from 2024, it's 33 songs in 43 minutes.
Wow.
But the songs are, they have a pretty good sound, and they kind of sing in a monotone. And the videos are usually just like half a minute or whatever. And they have this guy who comes on and he does these interpretive dance to these songs. And then they usually have these real stoic kind of just like staring straight ahead with like too much makeup on their eyes or whatever. And they like one song is I am the Antichrist. And it's I am the Antichrist. I want an apology now. There's one called Bloody Ass. Can I get a little sympathy because I got a bloody ass? Let's see, Rot in Hell. I Hope You're Rotting in Hell. Smell My Wife. They have a song called River of Intestines. She'll sometimes sing the lead, and she goes, I don't want to drown in a river of my own intestines. Nobody Cares. Midtown, they go, the mother effing world's on fire. Nobody cares. We're going to Midtown. So, and then there's one.
I didn't create this stuff, John.
No, I know. I am bleeding internally. Anyway, they have a lot of standard Link songs, and their sound really isn't bad, but it's very humorous, and you can see them on Instagram and TikTok and Reels. So you can see them all over the place, and it's a man and a woman. And they're just like, and there's a guy who'll just come out. And he's kind of a weird guy anyway, and he'll just like dance for like half a minute. So the Dream Eaters, we are the Dream Eaters, 2024.
Cool.
You can see why they make short songs only.
yeah, you don't have to go too long with some of these. I'm going to leave one out, but there's a lot more.
Well, I'll definitely have to hear.
Yeah, you'll like it. You'll like that. I know you will.
That's my sort of thing. I wish I still had a radio show to play that sort of stuff.
Oh, you'd
on.
love it. Yeah.
Well, as far as video, movie type things go, I want to recommend The Perfect Neighbor. It's on Netflix right now. It's a new documentary, and it's about a neighborhood in Florida, and you have a woman who was just the town Karen, as they call people now, and they've called her that, who complains about the kids in the neighborhood all the time. And this is the very beginning of the documentary, so I'm not giving anything away. She shoots the mother of the children she's complaining about.
Okay.
Some of the children. And the documentary follows it. You go back and you see how this happened, and it is a real eye-opener about the stand your ground law in Florida.
Oh.
But it's...
that's eye-opening.
It is, and I don't want to tell you what happens to this woman, but throughout this, you have the knowledge that she can get out of this.
Yeah,
because of the stand your ground law.
Stand your ground is like if you feel
threatened
you can defend yourself.
And there's a revelation at the end of it.
Yeah,
where you get the answer that you're looking for, as far as whether this was intentional or not.
Right.
But it's a riveting documentary, and it's really upsetting. So be prepared.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. But you know at the outset that the mother has been shot. But as you go back and it reveals all this, it's infuriating. It's maddening. But it's a very good documentary, and it's something that everybody needs to think about.
All right.
I've been on vacation all week, and I have not looked at a television or any kind of visual medium. So I just picked a movie out that I remembered that I really liked.
Okay.
Well, we both do that a lot.
And it is the 2000 movie You Can Count on Me, starring Laura Linney and Mark Ruffalo. Uh-huh. And it's just a really sweet, good, funny story. It's got some drama to it. It's a great story, and it made me really love Laura Linney.
And Knoxville's own The V-Roys are on the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's been a while since I've seen it. I just was kind of thought, well, what's a movie I like? Oh, yeah, there's one.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
All right. I don't know why we haven't talked about the Chair Company yet, have we?
No, and I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, my God. This is the equivalent of the music we're talking about. The Chair Company, it seems like it's a comedy, and it's streaming on Max. It's on HBO cable, so that's where you can see it. And it stars Tim Robinson, and he's the most middle of the road guy in the world. He's like in his mid 40s. He's middle age. He's the middle manager and living in Ohio, so he's living in the middle of the country, and he's working for like an architectural design company. And he's got a little kind of twitchy thing about him. He's like a little intense, and he has some panic attacks and all. But this story, I've watched 6 episodes so far. There are 8 episodes total. And it just gets more and more intriguing and weird and goes further and further afield. It reminds me of, I think it was the Jonathan Demme movie, After Hours, in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Starring Griffin Dunn. It's just like Griffin Dunn, like he has this whole overnight thing. It's just one scenario after another plays out. And there are all these characters in this show that you think are just kind of normal people. And then one by one, they reveal some weird things about him, either neuroses or psychoses, and he meets new people. But I can talk a little bit about episode 1 without giving too much away. I won't talk about where the story keeps going. But he's designed a new mall that's going up in Canton, Ohio, and the company wants him to give a speech. And there's a little stage, and like 50 people in the company are in front of the stage watching, and he's got a few people standing behind him, and he's in a chair, and then he gets up. The owner of the company, he plays by Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay.
And this guy, Tim Robinson, he's great. He plays Ron. He's the main character. Lake Bell is his wife. You probably know her if you saw her. Anyway, so he gets up and he's got to give this speech, and everybody, is watching him. And he gives a great speech, and then he goes and sits down, and the chair collapses, and he falls back. He hits his head on the stage, and he's looking there were people standing behind him, and he looks up, and like they're standing over him. And then he says, he acts like everything's fine, and he's standing there behind the broken chair and all. And then they go about the thing and they break up. And when they break up, he goes back to his office and gets under his desk, and he's just having this seizure about how mortified he is. Then, I don't even know where, I'll pick out one thing that happens to give you an idea of where the show goes. So this woman comes into his office and she goes, "Hey, are you feeling okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm feeling okay. That was just like a bad thing." And she said, "Okay." She said, "Well, I'm going to go to HR about what happened. But no, I know it wasn't your fault, and I know you didn't mean anything." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, you looked up my skirt." And when he fell on the stage, his head hit the back of the stage, and it was just this middle-aged woman, nothing to her at all, and she's wearing like this low, calf length or ankle length skirt, and he just looks up it because that's right above him. He goes, "Well, you don't need to go to HR for that." She goes, "Oh, I know." She said, "But I'll just feel better. I feel like I need to tell them." So HR calls him in, and she says, "This is just a matter of routine, Ron. Don't worry. We know you didn't do anything, but I've got some questions for you." She said, "Would you deliberately booby trap your chair to break so you would look up her skirt?" He goes, "What? No. Why would you ask me that?" And she said, "Oh, don't worry. It's just questions I have to ask." He said, "Have you ever had sex with her?" He goes, "No, I've never had sex with her." And she goes, "Okay, no, I know it's fine. Watch these videos." And she said, "And then we'll be all ready when the national HR person comes in." He goes, "What? You're bringing them in?" So it's just like constant panic over these things. But he goes on a mission to find out more about this chair company. So he looks them up, and he tries to look them up. You can call them, but you never get through. You can't leave a message. You can't reach anybody. You can't go there. And he starts suspecting there's something really weird going on with this chair company. And he starts meeting these other people, and has it gets violent and weird at times, and it's always weird. And there's always just something quirky, and everybody in it suddenly shows a quirky side. And it's like all these people who seem really boring and like, why are you even watching this? They're all crazy. They're all crazy in one way or another.
This sounds like a Franz Kafka.
You'll love this one. It sounds like what?
Sounds like Kafka. It sounds like a Kafka sitcom.
Yeah. But anyway, it's great. I'm trying to think of any other things I can tell you about, but I don't want to give anything away.
Oh, okay.
But Just take my word for it. It's good, and you start thinking you're figuring things out, and then it just goes somewhere else. It just keeps going somewhere else.
Cool. That sounds right up my alley.
And that's you'll like. I know you'll like this. I think you'll all like this.
Okay.
So that's the chair company.
All right.
Cool. Pete,
you got any recommendations?
You got anything you want to recommend or anything?
Anybody ever hear of the Shags?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've talked. Yeah, the Shags.
Yeah.
The Shags. I didn't know that they were triplets.
Yeah.
Well,
they weren't triplets. They were sisters.
They were sisters.
I thought they all looked the same.
That's because of that haircut they had.
That Halloween thing is really strange. Everybody's off key on their singing.
Yeah.
And on the instruments.
It's like they don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But their dad was convinced that they did.
I always wondered if they are really that bad, or are they doing it on purpose?
No, they were that bad. And then they got back together, and they learned how to play a little bit when they got back together, and the magic was gone.
You can only write my pal Foot once.
That's true. You can only sing it once, really.
Well, Pete, thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here.
It's good to be a guest over here.
Yeah, we look forward to it. So
yeah,
we'll get you back next year. Next time you're down, that'd be cool.
Hope so.
Yeah, me too. All right. You can reach us at howweheardit@gmail.com. And if you got any questions or feedback, you can find us on all the social media channels. And
Episode ideas.
Yep.
episode ideas, yeah. Feedback, nice feedback would be good. You can subscribe to us on any of these, any of the podcast platforms, or on social media. You can see what we're sending out there, little blurbs from our new episodes.
Give a good Yelp review.
Give a good, yeah, give us good reviews, please.
Yep.
Yelp, you name it. Spotify, podcast, Apple Podcasts.
Are we really on Yelp?
No,
I was joking. Yelp, isn't that for businesses?
Hey, you say something, I'll just play along with it,
well.
you know, whether I know or not.
But we'll take a Yelp
Classic
review. It don't
improv.
matter.
Yes,
Give
and
us a Yelp, yeah, yes and. All right, we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, movies, art, culture, whatever it is that's on their mind. How We Heard It was recorded at the Arbor Studio in Knoxville, Tennessee by me, John Baker. How We Heard It is a Cozy Planet production. If listening to this podcast has given you a burning sensation, then we recommend you sit in a hot tub until your symptoms fade away. If you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne, or even me, you can send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. So thank you for listening, and come on back and we'll have another episode for you next week.